Hi, guys. My name is Shannon Bennett, and I survived an oilfield accident, and this is my story.
Do you think you were meant to go through this experience for a reason?
You know, I used to believe when I first woke up that everything happens for a reason. And I don't necessarily believe that so much anymore. I believe shitty things happen, bad things happen. Nobody's exempt. Like, nobody gets a free pass in this world, right? So bad things happen. I do believe that, and now I don't know if I did so much at the time, but I believe we get promptings. We have feelings, we have like urgencies, we have like if we listen to our inner self, we'll get those promptings. And does that prevent things from happening? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just digging into that part of it. Like, but I believe shitty things happen, and I think it's what we do with it that makes the difference. It's like,
Totally.
well, that happened. Okay, what are you gonna do with that? I don't know, and I believe people come into our lives, certain people cross our paths, we may know them for a short time, they may stay there for a while and then eventually drift off, so I think if we hang on to, because I've seen friends, hang on to relationships or friendships that you just let them go, it's like, some people are just meant to drift in and out, and that's fine. So yeah, I'm learning kind of how to navigate that. But I think bad things happen, and it's how we deal with it. And I don't know so much. And sometimes I flip flop because I'll hear people say, "Oh, it was meant to be," and I'll be like, I could see that. So I don't know. I'm not a I'm a flip flopper,
I get you. Was there a moment where you wanted to end it all or anything
Yes.
after something like this?
Yes, but it had nothing to do with my burn injury.
Mm.
Yeah. So it was a couple months of suicidal ideology. Is that what you would call it? Like the thoughts. And I figure I had it planned out, but I couldn't execute it because I have a friend that he had an incident. He was a truck driver, and he was pretty confident this kid directly ran into him because he seen his face before it happened. And he wasn't frightened. He wasn't concerned. He intentionally did it. And he still has nightmares about that. So that was going to be my go-to. And it was a couple months of that. And I ended up meeting up with CrossFit friend, and she had lost two children. Let me see, that was like 17, 18 years earlier at that point, 6 months apart. So, and I had met her right before my son passed away. So we had met and we did CrossFit together. So it's like the people that come into your life. And so I went to CrossFit, and she was there. She wasn't always there. She was 65 at the time. So she was 20 years older than me, 15 years older than me. Still doing CrossFit, rocking it. And we had a discussion. I was telling her my feelings because I couldn't talk to I didn't talk to my family about it. Nobody knew about it because I didn't want to talk to my family because I know they'd be concerned, they'd be worried, and they'd want to fix it. And they didn't have the capability of doing that, you know? And so I met up with her at CrossFit, and we were chatting, and I told her my feelings. And she said, "Well, you know what that is, right?" And she says, you would rather hurt yourself than hurt the other person." I was like, son of a bitch. You're right. That's it. I think that would hurt him so bad that I'd rather hurt myself. And he probably doesn't give two shits, right? Uh-huh. So it was after that, never had another thought. And it was just talking with her. Yeah, that and she's right now losing her faculties and struggling with why she's even here.
Jeez.
And I told her, I said, I'm here because of that. Remember that conversation? And she remembers the
Because of
conversation.
you.
Yeah, because of you. I said, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I said, so you still make a difference. I said, I know you're losing it. And she's a believer too, and she's lost 2 kids. So I said, we know we're going to see him again. And that's another thing, it's like we have that belief and to have that hope in the future. And I don't know what I would do if I didn't have that hope in the future, for the future.
Yeah. Yeah. May I ask, you said your son passed?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
10 years ago, July.
And may I ask how?
So it was a fentanyl overdose. So yeah, he had been, so from what I learned afterwards, him and his roommate had been messing around with heroin, and it was fentanyl. It was laced with fentanyl. So.
And how old was he?
19.
Young.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. That was the rough one. So yeah, so doing the the burn support group and having those tools before he passed away, and Al-Anon at that point, we had went through Al-Anon. At the Al-Anon, he would come to the meetings with me. So we processed a lot doing the Al-Anon, meetings. So the only reason I think I would even think about going to them is because I already knew how powerful the burn support groups were. So then we did the Al-Anon meetings, together, and the ladies would always make cakes and cookies and stuff, and he just loved it, and he'd get stuff from it. It was just the old ladies talking about. He knew the impact, and he knew the score, but we healed a lot doing the steps, working the steps with the Al-Anon. So it was very beneficial for us, for our relationship, and but yeah, it was learning those tools that I had learned up to that point that helped me get through that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a tough one. That was a tough one for
You've
sure.
been through a lot. That's crazy. I'm glad you're still here.
Thank
you're
you.
Still pushing your voice for so many. So a lot of people are going to listen and relate to this. So thank you for opening up. I also wanted to ask, what are some reactions that you get when people see your scars? Do you have any memories of any incidences of people reacting weirdly or funnily? Or
do I got any stories?
I want to hear them.
One I had, and it's really the only negative one I've had. We were up in Alaska, and I was at the laundromat. I had been doing laundry all day. I was hot and I was tired, and I was going through the grocery store, and I heard this girl say, "Oh my gosh, why would you wear shorts looking like that?" Right? So I just kind of walked, and I turned around and I looked around, and there was like nobody else in there, right? So, and she made another comment, and I'm like, okay, like I was just tired enough, just irritated enough, and I turned around, and there was nobody else around. So there was nobody else she could have been talking about, It's a little store in Alaska. So I said, hey, my name's Shannon. I'm a burn survivor. I was burned in the oil field, 87%, 3rd and 4th degree burns. I had, so many surgeries, lost some fingers, something. I said, do you have any questions? And she's like, and it was an adolescent, like a teenager, but she was with an adult. So I don't know if it was her aunt or what, but she was with somebody that should have put her in check, right? Mm-hmm. So I said, do you have any questions? And she, no. I said, oh, okay, have a nice day. And I turned around and I got my stuff and I checked out and I left. I was like, no. You don't get to be ignorant like that in public. I'm sorry. And so that was the most negative one I had. But the funny thing is my family would always, they'd be more protective of me than I never pay attention. I don't pay attention because I don't care. But the handshakes one is the one that cracks me up.
I tried my best.
We were talking about this earlier. I was actually going to ask you this. Like, how do you prefer people to shake your hand?
Or
Or what's the weirdest you've got?
I know. I know.
I know. I've had people come up my whole arm to my elbow. I'm like,
I saw that happen.
She
Like
was
grab the
there.
whole arm.
Comedy show grabs her elbow.
goes up here and shake. I'm like, my hand is here. But yeah, tell us, what's it like?
Depends, because sometimes I'm pretty on it, and then other times I'm like, I just want to see how this goes, kind of.
It's kind of entertaining, isn't it?
Yeah, because you get the weird, they
They
get
like kind of
weird.
panic and they're like,
Yeah,
"Shit."
which is hilarious. It's like, yeah, it's okay, man. And I'll either, if I'm not in the mood to like mess with that, then I'll just, I'll either say fist bump, so then they know, okay, or I'll just grab them. I'll just like
hold it
as their hands coming out, I'll be like, whoosh.
scoop it up.
Yeah. But no, or I'll just just go with it and be like, no, I want to see how this one plays out. And yeah, it's hilarious. It
You
is
ever have
hilarious.
people like coming in really hard and then all of a sudden they see your hand and they grab like just the just the finger and shake it? I have so many people.
It's like
do
a
it.
limp handshake.
It's so
like,
awkward. It's so awkward.
It's like, come on, just grab the whole thing. Your
Just
hand's
take
plenty
it.
big enough.
Do you ever have people when they fist bump though, like smash your hand?
Yeah.
And it hurts.
Like super hard. And I'm like, okay,
You're
calm.
like, okay, these are nubs. You don't have to smash
Really?
them.
You wanna bash? Okay,
Yeah.
let's do this. We can do this. Yeah. No, the funny thing is too, like when I forget that I don't have fingers. So when I point, people have fist bumped me before, and I'm like, okay, well, that wasn't a fist bump. I was actually pointing at something, but that one cracks me up. Yeah,
I've done that many times too. I try to point and they're like, where are you pointing? I'm like, that way. And they're like, but your fingers go every direction. At the casino, I do it all the time. Like, you're going to want to go that way. You got to use both hands.
You have to.
They just don't get it.
Nope, you have to. When somebody's operating the equipment, I'm like, look, I'll operate the backhoe because you're not going to understand my hand gestures. Just, Avery did because, we worked enough together. Like he knew my gestures, but nobody else is gonna.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll get in the backhoe. You do the hand gestures. It'll be fine. But yeah, no, the handshake one is awesome. That's an awesome one.
That or the high five too. You like try to give them one,
Oh
and
my
they're like,
gosh, yeah, and your hand.
they're like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm high fiving. They're like, okay,
yeah,
I guess,
because like your nubs are gonna stab into their palm. It's like, yeah, okay,
yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I try to avoid the high fiving, but some people do insist on it, and it's like, okay, you got to do a high five fist bump.
Yeah, right.
What is one question people are scared to ask you, but you actually wish they would?
Ooh, was that on the list? I don't remember.
No, it's a fresh bonus.
Oh,
It's a bonus question.
Okay, so
you can take a second.
Okay, say that again.
What is one question people are scared to ask you, but you actually wish they just would?
The wiping of the butt is one. Like people are real, hesitant about that. And you're talking burn related, right? Burn injury related.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That one. And it's like, cause they're like, and it's like, you just like, just ask.
You can tell. You never know when they walk up and you're like, I already know what you're going to ask, but you just wait for them to ask it because you know it's coming.
Yeah.
You can see
wait
it on their
for them
face.
to muster up the energy and courage.
And then you're like, all right, I'll just tell you how I wipe my ass. And you're like, oh, thank God.
Yes. Yeah. I've been wondering. It's like, okay. Yeah. That's one. And just, yeah, that's got to be the top one. Just let it out,
So tell me, how do you wipe your ass?
Like a normal person.
Like a champ.
Like a champ. Yeah. And if I eat my fiber, it's not too complicated, but if I little cut back on my fiber, don't get enough fiber in, then it's a little long, takes a little longer. But yeah, the problem I'm having because I'm not doing my stretches. Like I have a really hard time with stretching. CrossFit, throwing weights around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that, like that aggressive raw, but to stand there in a static hold with a stretch, I have a really hard time with. But if I keep messing around, the older I get, because I've had back injuries, before the burn, I'm going to end up needing my butt wiping tool. Yep. Yeah, I have a butt
Damn.
wiping
There's a
tool.
tool?
There's tons of tools. Yep. I still have mine. I saved mine.
What
'cause
does it look like?
It's like bent, and then it's a little square that has teeth in it, so you just can poke the toilet paper in. It's very effective. If you could Google, well, I think any adaptive tool now. I used to have the big book with all the adaptations of the cutting board
Ooh.
with the vise in it, that one was a good one.
There's a book on it? That's cool.
There used to be a book of all the stuff.
Oh, that's
I mean, I
cool.
got it from OT and PT. I don't know. I don't think I stole it because it was a pretty big book. I think they gave it to me. It was probably outdated, but now you can just Google butt wiping tool, and yeah.
We'll put it on the screen so people
Put
can
the
see
link.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, put
because
the
I
link.
need to see this. I didn't know there was a butt wipe.
There
tool.
is.
Yeah, all this time I could have had my mom not doing it. I could have been doing it with the tool.
Yeah, she said her mom had to wipe it in the booty.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was not that long ago either. A couple years ago.
Oh,
That was horrible.
yeah.
The bidet can only do so much.
See, I've been
So
going to
gotta have a
invest
heart.
in one of those.
Oh
Nice.
yeah,
They
Yeah,
are very nice.
change your life.
that's what I've heard. People that have had it. Yeah,
But we'll never be the same.
no, I got a friend of mine and her husband. We got an Airbnb up in Georgetown, and he's like, I should have brought my bidet with me, and I was like,
Mhm.
what? And then he's telling me, he's like, oh yeah, you'll never not have one after having one. I'm like, okay. I still haven't pulled the trigger on that one, but yeah. But no, and then the lotion one. It's that plastic hand that's curved, and it's in the shape of a hand, and you can put stuff on it. And you go, oh, psh.
Oh, I think I have
need
seen
one
that.
of those too.
Oh,
What?
those are brilliant. I found
was
mine at
bad.
Walgreens, but the last ones they had there were lame. They weren't good ones. So yeah, it's just a plastic hand. And the handle, the little foam hand that sits in the insert, you have to glue it back in eventually. But no, that works brilliantly. And it works good for slapping people too. Like before you start putting lotion on, you can just walk up to somebody and go, wow,
Get 'em.
like, and swing it hard, but it doesn't hurt. Yeah.
May I ask, did the booty get melted?
Yes.
Mm.
So that was the last thing to heal up, I think, because you're laying on your back. And it wasn't until like I was up on the rehab floor and kind of waking up more that I was more proactive about having them, because they're like, okay, she needs to be turned every 2 hours, because I still couldn't roll at that time. And so once I got coherent enough, and I'd ring the buzzer every couple hours. And so they'd come in and roll me like in the middle of the night,
Mhm.
And then that's when everything healed up finally. And I remember when it healed up too, because the nurses were so happy about it. And they were like, can I call Sally in to come look at your butt? It looks so good. And I'm like, sure. Because I'm at the university, it's like teaching hospital. I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks great. Your butt looks so good. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. I had these rocker boots on because my feet weren't flat. So they got me these rocker boots so I could walk,
Mhm.
And I walked past the mirror in the bathroom. I seen what it looks like. It's not great.
Mhm.
But, they're great. Am I great? Two different things. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, it took a while to close up.
Okay. Gotcha. Wow.
The cheeks. The cheeks. Butt cheeks.
Okay.
What's the hardest thing for you to do today with your hands as the way they are now? Is there like one particular thing that's like, if I could change that, that would be pretty cool.
I think it's the temperature. I mean, not right now and not through the winter because it wasn't a brutal winter, but with having horses, I don't have tank heaters. So I have to break the ice on their water tanks.
Mm.
So I use this, it's a 12-pound tamping bar, and I can't use it with gloves.
Hard to grip around.
So I take the gloves off and I tamp, and then once my hands get cold, they don't work. And so yeah, that's the hardest thing for me is the non-functioning once they get cold. Everything else I can do. If I have a pair of pliers or a knife, I can get it handled, But yeah, the coldness, once they're cold, they're done. And it's so, ugh. And this was quite a few years ago, but the battery on my backhoe went dead, so I had to pull the cover off, which at that time, there's only 2 now. At that time there were 3. and holding this cover on, right? And I'd operate, get the one bolt out. My hands would get cold. So I'd have to go in. I heated up a corn bag, warm them up. And then I'd go back out and get the other bolt off, right? Warm them up. Like it was like a 2-hour process, which is ridiculous. It's 3 bolts, but I'm like, I'm not asking for help. Like I'm going to get this handled, and I did, but it took forever. And I'm just like, you know what? Who cares? It's going to take me forever. I'd have coffee, warm my hands up. And it was frustrating, but not really. It was a practice in patience, and I got the chargers on them, got them running. Yeah. But so I think that is the hardest thing. Everything else can be managed with a knife and a pair of pliers. Except for pulling a ticket out of the
I was just
DIA.
gonna say, except for that.
Yeah.
How do you go through drive-thrus? Do you go through drive-thru to get food? Is it easy
Sometimes.
or not so much? Like for me, it was a real pain in the ass because my wrists just don't work right. So trying to grab food, I would like drop stuff or drop money.
Oh
So I
my.
got to a point where I had like a little cup where I would just pass them the money, and then they would like pass it back. So I'd always drop the change on the ground
Oh
trying
yeah.
to get it, or
Yeah.
trying to grab a soda. I can't do it with one hand.
Yep.
So I have to do 2. So if I'm like really far away, they have to reach in the car for me. So I don't know if
You gotta-
have any
yeah.
tools for that, or if you. The longest time I would just go inside because I didn't want to deal with
Yeah.
the people's interaction and all of it.
Yeah.
Finally hit a
Yeah.
point
Because
where I
then
just
they're
started-
like very.
Well, yeah, they give you the deer in the headlights. Like, fuck, do I hand you this? And I'm like, just hand it to me. Just give it to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you got to pull up really close. And with my depth perception, I get off sometimes, and I'm just like, but the chain, I don't use cash
Oh, okay.
because I'm like, nope. Because I did it a couple times and shit goes everywhere, and I'm just like, no,
Yeah.
just either that or just keep the change, but I'll just use a card.
But like grabbing drinks and stuff, how's that for you? Is that
I just do
difficult?
two-handed. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mine's coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
know.
even scarier.
I know.
You got the scalding hot coffee they're
Yeah.
handing you.
Not again.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh god,
You
don't
know,
do it.
I have this handle, and I've never found it since then, but I got it at Caribou Coffee, and it sits under the 16-ounce cup.
Mhm.
And sometimes, if I have a problem with my hand or it's hurt, because I've injured my thumb before, so it's like one little injury on my thumb and my whole hand's useless. But I'll hold that holder out, and then they can put it right in there. Yeah, so that one works pretty good. I have another holder, but it was a little larger. It'd be like for something like bigger cup, but I duct taped it for the coffee. So that one works too, but it's a little sketchier because I'm like, because sometimes it goes right to the lid. I'm like, if that lid pops off, the whole cup's gone. So yeah, but my other one's perfect. So I'll do that. But that's usually if my hands hurt or something, or because then they're like, they don't know what to do with that.
Oh, they panic.
They do.
It's like, just put it in there. They're like, God.
I'm like,
I don't
just
know what
put
to
the
do."
cup in the hole,
Yeah.
just right there. It's okay.
They get lost in the sauce and looking
They-
at your fingers. They're
they
like
do.
just locked in. Can't look away. You're like, hey, right here, buddy.
I know.
Focus up. Put
Yeah.
the drink in. Let's go.
My eyes are up here, not
Yeah.
here.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's a fun one. No, the drive-thru's fine. The pulling a ticket out of the DIA is not fine. Not fine, but now I know.
Yeah.
And I paid for the parking inside, which I learned that. There was a guy paying for the park. I said, you can do that? And he's like, oh yeah. Then you just scan this ticket as you drive out. Then you don't have to deal with the card, because I have to use pair of pliers for the card one. So I have to find the booth that actually has a human in it, and they're not always, I think maybe one person is in there now. Maybe. I don't know. So this time I paid for it inside. I still had to get on my vehicle though, and then scan the ticket. So, well, mostly because I didn't know what I was doing. So next time I should be able to do it from the car. Yeah. Navigating all that stuff.
Yeah. So there's a burn survivor out there right now who's in the hospital. They had just suffered horrific burn injuries. What is your advice to them at this stage?
Well, it would depend on where they're at. Like if they're still pretty doped up.
This just happened.
Okay.
And they're coming to, they realized, they're horrifically burned. They're down in the dumps. They're really depressed. They don't know if they want to move on with their life. What is your advice to them?
I have actually visited patients that it was the day after they were burned. And I don't really give advice. I just, I go in and introduce myself, and kind of give them and I'm very careful about what part of my story I talk about. But I just tell them, I was injured and I was here for, 10 and a half months and, on the ICU floor for 7 and things get better. It's like, it sucks right now. And I think the Phoenix Society had a phrase, embrace the suck, because it sucks and it's going to suck for a while, but it will eventually suck a little less each day. I just actually told a lady that we were on the same flight and her mom had just passed away. And so, and I was speaking to her from having lost my son, it's like, no, it's hard. You're going to be in a daze for months. Like you're just not, because she's like, I'm just not with it. And I said, you're going to be in a fog for a little while. I said, eventually it clears, I said, it's not something you'll get over, but you get through it. I said, and she had her dad and her sister. I said, so you got your family. I said, just lean on them as much as you can. And same with burn survivor, especially if their family's there. It's like, lean on them. They're here for you. They're happy you're here. Everybody's happy you're still alive. There's so much there, like, and I usually with them, like I'll say, I was over 80% burned, and there's still life after an injury. And hopefully that helps them see the light, give them that glimmer of hope. Cause I think that's what Paul did for me. My survivor is he gave me and he was right around 80%. So, and he's climbing 14ers, so, and he's climbed numerous ones. So, that's my, like, I try not to give advice unless it goes that direction.
Gotcha.
And if they have questions, you have any questions, and they usually do.
What's the question that mostly comes up?
Like, how long will this last? Will I, and if they're limited, will I be able to get use out of this? And it's like the answer, I said, I don't have the answer. I said, but when the OTs and PTs come in, just listen to what they say. And, you're going to hate them. You're going to hate seeing them come in your room. But the ones you hate the most and dislike seeing the most are going to be the ones that get you out of here the fastest. So embrace them. And like my OT Jen, that she was my inpatient and rehab, and yeah, we're still friends. I'm still friends with her on Facebook, and we meet, not so much anymore. She's in a different field, but yeah, still in contact. Yeah, she was impactful in my life for sure. There's those certain people that play crucial roles in the recovery, like nurses that you have, OTs, PTs, or even doctors, that play a crucial role that stay in your life forever. Yeah.
Family at this point.
Family. Yeah. Yeah. You're part of a family you never knew you needed,
And that's our last question. Crispy, if you wanna.
Yeah, I got a question. Is what's the best part about being a burn survivor? I know that's kind of a weird question, but I think there's good out of it. So
there's a lot of good. Yeah. You can totally milk some situations because people have, pity for you or sympathy for you. And you can get away with a lot more stuff. Like, I was talking to, when we did this panel at the ABA, they were talking about, patients that don't like to really necessarily want to go to the meetings, It's like you find a survivor because they have protocols and stuff. So you find a survivor and you have them ambush them is what you do. You send them in and try and draw them out, So yeah, that's but there's so many advantages, I think. And the biggest one's the family, having a community that you're a part of forever, for the rest of your life. And like the adaptive sport camps and the outreach programs, I did, like I said, I did the reach program, the outing, and reach retreat is what it was called. And you the people you meet and you become bonded with forever. Those are people that come into your life and never leave. And I did the adaptive sport camp through UC Health and the DC firefighters, and there's so many, like you guys have, like there's so many local programs that it's like, and you want to get the family involved too. Because if the burn survivor isn't receptive to it, then you get the family on board to try and help with getting them to a meeting. Because and I was like not receptive to it, but it's like once I went, it was something I knew I needed to go back to and continue to go back to, and still do. I still go to the burn support groups. So
Wow,
it's a priceless kind of, it's priceless. The whole community is.
Yeah. Thank you, Shannon Bennett. This has been Zello Rose and the Crispy Ginger with Life in Many Colors. And we thank you so much for listening today. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.